You're about to open a window into the life of a ghost hunter. We'll show you dark, creepy roads that fade into the night. We'll show you haunted places, but most importantly, we'll show you what happens along the way there.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Will.
And we're on the road heading out west to Appomattox, where we're going to be camping for the night. And a short ways from there, we're going to be doing a residential investigation in Charlotte Courthouse. And I'm hoping we'll be able to run footage down there to show you a little bit about what's going on and hopefully put it into a Case Files video.
Right.
But the big deal is tomorrow. When we wake up, we're heading out to Wytheville to do an investigation at the Octagon Mansion.
Yeah.
Now, for the past 2 years, all we've done have been residential investigations. So this will be our first, what we call a commercial location, which is like a public location, in about 2 years.
Yes.
So it'll be pretty exciting. We'll be broadcasting live from there, but by the time this video comes out, I'm sure you've already seen the broadcast. If not, we'll link it at the end of the video. But what are your thoughts as we're heading out here?
Well, I know I'm excited about tomorrow, especially because, like you said, it's the first commercial investigation in a couple of years, and because it's sort of an obscure spot. You know, when you look up haunted places in Virginia, the Octagon Mansion, they also have another name for it, Boyer's something Mansion, does not come up like on the Shadowlands Index. So it's kind of hard to find a lot of information about it, but it's been used as various things, supposedly a bakery and all that. So many uses, has had a couple of different families, polio epidemics in the area. So I think I'm kind of excited about that one. It looks like a pretty cool spot.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah, this is going to be my very first commercial investigation. So that's
Right.
Yeah, since I've been with the team, I'm really excited for that. I'm excited to see if it's a different vibe or anything like that. I'm also really excited for the private investigation that we're doing tonight. Sometimes you can find some really good hidden gems where we walk away from it and be like, man, that was crazy. That was the best investigation we ever had. And I'm kind of hoping that's one of those tonight.
that's right. And one other thing that I'm excited about too is Linda mentioned that there's a Sheetz out there where we're going.
In Appomattox.
And Appomattox. So perhaps a Sheetz run tonight, but long before that, probably our next stop should be
Food.
right, that
Yeah.
second G.
Yeah.
Grub is what
Yeah.
we need because we haven't had any dinner yet.
No, and it's almost 6, so it's about that time.
That is right. That is right. And coming up shortly, we'll go over some viewer comments.
Right.
And we're looking forward to having everybody join us on this trip.
Yeah.
It's going to be quite a weekend.
Oh, and hey, if you haven't noticed, this is a different vehicle. This is the new Ford Ranger Expedition vehicle. 4-wheel drive, so we can go and do all of those expedition slow lock-em videos for you without having any chance in getting stuck. And we're really excited about it. These are really good vehicles. And not only that, we have the crew cab, so we can carry our investigators in the back. We bought a Craftsman brand Rubbermaid container thing, a big storage container. And that container now contains all of our equipment. It's a big one. It's like 50 gallons, and it's in the bed of the truck. So we're really excited to take this out on the road. It'll be the longest trip we've taken in it since we've gotten it, and certainly the first investigation on it. So really exciting.
I have so much more room back here.
I
Look at this. This is
I
great.
know, right?
I'm loving it.
Yeah, it should be coming out like that now.
Yeah, what are we unveiling over there today, Will?
Okay, so something I haven't had in a while. It's the Bacon King. Last time it gave me a stomach ache, but I don't care. I'm going in. Here we go. I think it's got some weight to it.
Yeah, look at that. It's like a volleyball.
There we go. Look at that. So it's 2 patties with a lot of bacon, some cheese, some condiments. Here we go.
Oh, man. That's kind of an obnoxious bite. And you got the milkshake to go with it.
Oh yeah. It's Oreo cookies and cream.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. And over here we got some fries.
Yep.
And
The original chicken sandwich. These things are amazing.
they are.
They're
They are
really
very
good. They just have a lot of flavor to them or something. I don't know what it is, but I have to say that they really loaded us up on French fries this time. You know, a lot of places it's kind of skimpy. You go and there's air in your little French fry container, but these are like overflowing. Like I was dumping them out of the box or out of the bag even after these little boxes were full.
Right, right. Now I got this Whopper. And at the same time I wanted the Bacon King like Will got. But I wanted some lettuce and tomato. So I got the Whopper, add bacon and cheese. I see the
Whoa.
cheese. I'm sure there's bacon on there somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll-
Nope. I don't know.
I'll just take their word. I don't see it,
Yeah, I
but
don't see it.
we'll pretend it's there.
That's a big bite.
That's a good sandwich. Alright, so we stopped off at a Sheets, and where are we?
Nobody really knows.
Not 100% sure, like Powhatan County perhaps?
We're in Powhatan
Pocahontas
County. No, it's Powhatan.
Powhatan County.
I'm just not sure the town.
Yeah. We're
Well-
close to Midlothian and Chester.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
too far from there.
Oh, well, we'll go in here and perhaps get some coffee
Yeah.
for the road.
Yep.
I do like Sheets coffee. Now, I think we should take a minute. And Will, you're kind of a connoisseur of coffee, are you not?
I
Somewhat.
like to think I am.
Let's go ahead and rate, all right, a couple of the coffees that we frequently get. And let's say, place them in order. From the best coffee on the interstate, which I think I already know what this is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
to good, but not the best coffee on the interstate.
Right.
All right. Now I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say my favorite all time from all the places we've been to, Pilot House Coffee.
Absolutely.
All right.
Pilot's got to beat everybody beat.
Yeah. Now what would we throw in for number 2? Let's top 5 right here.
That's kind of tough. I think it would be between Royal Farms and Wawa.
Really?
Yeah. I
Sheets
really-
isn't a contender for second.
No, unfortunately not. I love Sheets in every other way, but I think there's something about the heat of the Wawa coffee.
Yeah.
Like Wawa and Royal Farms, when you get it, it's like piping hot. No
It is.
question.
It
Every
is.
time, piping hot. Yeah, and it seems fairly strong. You know, not a very weak coffee. I
Right.
don't know. What would you say is second?
I got to go with Sheets.
Think so?
Yeah, I like Pilot, Sheets. And to me, I do got to agree that Royal Farms and Wawa are somewhat tied.
Yeah.
Somewhat
Yeah,
tied.
they are somewhat
Yeah.
tied, yeah.
And then probably Dunkin' Donuts with Paul in number 5.
I like Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know if that's number 5.
Really?
Yeah, for me, Dunkin' Donuts would probably be better than Sheets.
Oh.
I like Dunkin' Donuts more than Sheets coffee.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you, we often take a bag of Sheets coffee camping with us, and we brew it up on the percolator in the morning.
Yep.
And I posted some pictures on Instagram at
right.
Virginia Paranormal, and Sheets actually commented.
That's right.
One of them, we're out looking for Bigfoot. And, I put something to the effect of what better way to start out a day hunting for Bigfoot than with some Sheets coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And they commented, and they were like, did you find him? And I said, no, but if we did, how cool would it be to get a picture of him with some Sheets coffee? I mean, that would be quite an advertisement right there.
That's right, yeah.
But we're not too far out from our campground here, our campsite. I'm looking forward to checking this place out. I always like camping at new places. This is a state park. I do like state parks.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. My favorite all time are these off-the-grid places out in the middle of nowhere where we've got to take a backpack and we're away from civilization. But I am a fan of state parks as well, so I'll be interested in comparing this with some of the other state parks that we've camped at.
Yeah. Now, I have to say Hidden Valley, wildlife management area where we have gone to a couple of times on our expeditions, Lalakams. We found out when we went camping with this lady, Janet, whose investigation we just released last night.
The last video.
Yeah, the last video. That one, we found out from her that quite a few people have actually died in that lake.
Oh, wow.
We had no idea. I even looked it up. I researched it. I tried to find any information I could about people dying because of the fact that we had such strange experiences that first time we were there with hearing voices out in the woods at 2 o'clock in the morning. We figured this place has got to be haunted. But we had no idea why it would be because there was no information. But she said that a lot of the kids from her high school would go swimming in the lake and they would get sucked under and drown. So there's a lot of high school kids that have actually drowned in that lake. And that, I guess, could account for the fact that it's haunted.
That's right.
Haunted.
That's right. And, well, you went fishing in that lake, huh?
I did. And there was a clear sign posted that said, do not go swimming in this lake. So that could be why.
Yeah, that probably is why.
Absolutely. It didn't say no fishing, though, right?
No, I fished, but there was no fish.
You didn't pull out anything strange, though,
It
huh?
wasn't my fault. It's not that I'm a bad angler. It's that there's no fish in that lake, I guarantee it.
All right, so one thing, we don't have to look for firewood.
No, we don't. They have this convenient little station with a nice little sign, 50 cents per stick. So Jeff gave us a $10 bill, and we were sitting here doing the math, trying to figure out how many sticks that is. It's kind of on the honor system, I think. I'm guessing they haven't counted all these sticks as they put them here.
I don't know. It's a good
So
question.
I'm thinking that maybe they have no idea what
They got a sensor up there behind you, though, with the camera.
That's a motion sensor.
I think we put the envelope in over here, though.
Do you? Okay,
think
well, there's
so.
the envelope. I'll give that to you since you're going over that way anyways. Why is that locked?
All right, so we got a nice campsite here,
We do.
wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a little more enclosed, like there's a lot more campers around us, so we'll have to watch the tone of our voice, like that we don't get too loud tonight. But yeah, I mean, so far it's a nice campsite. It's a nice pad that they have laid out here, and
A
showers.
nice fire ring, so
Yep.
perhaps later on we'll have some campfire tales from beyond the grave.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What do you say, Will? You looking forward to some campfire
Oh,
tales
yeah.
from beyond the grave?
Man, as we throw some fire, like,
lighter fluid.
Yeah, some lighter
Not lighter
fluid on
fluid,
it.
but we got some of that powder we can throw on there. It's
Oh, yeah.
that powder that was on like Shark Tank that starts fires.
Mhm.
So we throw a little bit of that in there, like they did on the show back in the 90s.
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I got plenty of ghost stories to tell.
Yeah, I'm
It's
excited. So we're here at the residence, down in the basement, doing our baseline sweeps. What better place to start than the basement? But this is a pretty cool old stove we got over here, isn't it?
It is. The design on the front of this thing is amazing. Look at this. It says home comfort. Look
Wow.
at that. It's got the gauge right there. Wrought iron range company.
That's something.
Isn't this beautiful? Yeah, and it's actually piped in. It's actually piped into the house. So this was where it's at originally. This is where it was installed. I'm not exactly sure why, because the basement is a strange place to have a stove.
Yeah, now if it was an old store like they said,
Yeah.
there's a good possibility that maybe they served food. Maybe they served
Yeah.
breakfast like a old country store or something like that.
It could be.
But there's also a sink over here too.
There is.
Bless you.
Bless you. And then there's this kind of odd room built here that's really strange. I mean, just the placement of it is kind of odd. I mean, it's rained out. It's just an odd space. I don't know whether it was used maybe as a pantry for the restaurant or what the case was, but back over here, back behind this odd place, is the space between that and the exterior basement wall, or it's not an exterior basement wall because the rest of the basement is in here. Now this is the door that she said was taped. You can see the duct tape still on it. She said it was taped and nailed when they first moved in here. Somehow this door opened by itself seemingly. The cat got stuck in there one day and then the door got closed again on it and they kept hearing the cat, went looking for it, and this is where they found the cat. Now when they brought the cat out of this area over here, they put it up on the bed and they said it looked like it had wet itself. It left a wet spot. So they went to pick the cat up and they said they saw a spot of what looked like blood. But they checked the cat over, they washed the cat, they couldn't find any wounds. So they don't know if the cat maybe urinated on itself because it was so scared from being stuck in here by itself, or what. But for some reason there was a little spot of blood on the bed.
So far down here in the basement, the only reading that I'm getting is pretty normal. Of course, when you get close to the electricity, the water heater, anything like that, it shoots up past 2 or 3. But so far, so good. This hasn't gone off yet either. Okay. I can imagine someone working out of here and sitting on these stairs, taking a smoke break, going back in and cooking some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is just on that main stretch too, where it'd be like a perfect place for a little shop.
That's right.
Restaurant. So if you haven't tuned into any of our case files, Will is also carrying the carbon monoxide detector, and the reason that he does that is because we want to sweep for carbon monoxide leaks. There was actually an entry in a scientific journal back in the 20s where people were, long story short, all these people in this house were seeing these ghosts, and they found out that it was actually a faulty furnace leaking carbon monoxide. So we want to rule that out. We want to make sure that's not a possibility, that it's carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah. When it does that, it just makes you hallucinate. You can see ghosts, you can hear sounds. A lot of crazy things happens to the human body when you get that kind of poisoning.
Absolutely.
So it's just a good way just to kind of rule that out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to rule out any natural explanations.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say the dining room feels okay. But when you start turning that corner, the second you go through the doorway over into the short hallway that leads to the door to the basement, and it also leads into another bedroom over there, that feels terrible. Like the second you turn that corner, it just hits you. And it's like this kind of like that heavy feeling in the chest, the same kind of, but it's just kind of, like not a good one.
To me, it felt like when I walked ahead of Linda and I was by myself walking through the house. I walked back here and all the lights were off. And I walked into here, I'm like, okay, it's a change. It's like different paneling and everything.
Right.
And then I go to turn this corner expecting like a little closet or something.
Yeah.
And then you turn the corner and it's just darkness.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked, it felt like I just got stopped. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to go in there.
Right. It's like a wall of energy.
Yeah.
Right
There's
there.
very few times that I've walked into like a room or something like that where I'm like, I don't want to be in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And over here is one of them.
Yeah, that room right over there, huh?
Yeah.
I haven't been in that room yet. No, I was down in the basement.
It's just the second you walk through that doorway, you're walking through now. This is whatever this is. I don't think it's coming from that bedroom. I don't think it's coming from downstairs. It's coming from that one.
Did you notice the burn mark on the floor?
Is that what this?
That's
what it looks like,
Yeah, in the bedroom.
It's definitely darker.
Oh, that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what that would be from.
Well, it could be a number of things, of course. It's not always a good sign, but it's not always a bad sign.
No.
I would take it that somebody lit candles in here, but it could be they just lit a candle and it fell, or it could be they were lighting candles for some sort of reason. And
Well, usually when you light a candle and it falls over, at least most of the time nowadays, candles will go out. You know,
that's true.
they go out when they fall over. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Is that the cat?
I think so.
You think so?
The highest milligauss rating has been in here so far.
Is it?
As far as something that's not close to an electronic. Yeah, it's gotten up past 1 in here.
Dare I open this closet? Kitty. There's some clothing in here. Some old shoes. Nothing out of the ordinary by any means. So I think what we're gonna have to do is concentrate on this part of the house. The other part of the house, like the front living room, felt fine. I was fine in there. The hallway leading down to the main bedrooms where they all stay felt a little heavier, just like almost like my legs were tired, more tired than they should be. But that's all I felt back there. But this part of the house here, this is definitely where something is coming from, because I'd say that bedroom. I don't think it's even the basement. I think it's that bedroom right there. Last supper up there. It feels fine in here. It's a pretty cool bed, I have to say. It's pretty high, like close to the ceiling, like you sit up and you bump your head. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it gives you all this room underneath.
It does. I had a loft bed when I was a kid and I loved it. Hi, kitty. Hi, pretty kitty. That's a good kitty, huh? That's a good kitty. He's beautiful. He loved it. That's a good kitty.
Okay, so we're going to start off with a spirit box session back here in the bedroom, and we have the REM pod down there on the floor. We have the tri-field meter here on the bed, so that's going to be monitoring for any spikes. Start the recorder, and is that the cat setting up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
What is it, huh? What is it, huh?
Okay, I'm Jeff,
I'm Linda.
and we don't mean to trespass or intrude or to be here unwanted by any means. We'd just like to know if there's anybody else here with us right now. And if there is, and you'd like to communicate with us, we have a couple different means you can do that. We have this device down here on the floor. And as soon as the cat's done with it, if you go near that device, it'll light up. Just like the cat made it do, you see that it doesn't hurt the cat. So you can do the same thing. You can come near that, it'll turn to green, and we can use that to communicate with you. We also have this device on the bed here. And if you try talking, it may pick up your voice. Could you try telling us your name?
Did someone bring you here or invite you here? If so, who?
What is your purpose for being here? What do you want?
We noticed that burn mark on the floor over here by the window. Can you tell us how that got here?
Was there someone who stayed in this room at one time who was not a very good person? Perhaps someone you didn't like?
I notice this mirror here. Does someone or something pass through this mirror into this room? Is the mirror a portal?
Now that you mention that, I think what we should do is let's put the REM pod right in front of the mirror and see if there's any interaction that we get with it. We've tried this before at a location where they said there was some activity with the mirror, and it seemed like it got some pretty good responses. If you do come and go through this mirror, can you enter through it now for us? The family that lives here, they've had some things going on that they can't really explain, and they feel that there might be somebody here with them that they can't see, they can't hear. Now is your chance to be heard. If you have a message, or you'd like to convey a reason that you're here, now's your chance to try to tell us that reason. Why are you here?
Let's try asking the question again. Did someone use an Ouija board in this room? I would take that as a yes. I mean, that thing just goes nuts.
And it hasn't done it except for in response to that question.
Right. Right.
Other than that, it's been at 0.5, 0.4.
When they used this Ouija board, did something come into this room or into this house through that board? If the answer is yes, come near that device and make the numbers go up.
So at first glance, it didn't seem like a whole lot coming through the spirit box in the bedroom back here. Linda picked it up to kind of serve as an antenna, and after she did that, there were some bits and parts of speech that came through.
Right.
Not sure if it was radio chatter or not. We're going to have to go back and review that, of course.
Yeah.
What we're going to do now is move down to the basement and do an EVP session. I got to say, I like EVP sessions because if you get an answer from there, there's no question.
Right.
Is it radio chatter?
Yes.
Or is it something else?
Very definitive.
It's pretty solid. So we're
Right.
going to head down to the basement and start an EVP session.
It's okay. All right. Little kitties.
All right, so we got the REM pod set up on the old stove. Perfect place for it.
I stepped on a plastic egg there.
In the basement.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good spot for a EVP session because it's very quiet down here. You can't hear the TV upstairs, and the clients are being very quiet right now, which is great. So we can now go ahead and be able to eliminate a lot of the outside noises that you would normally get at a residence investigation.
Okay, I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Will.
And aside from the three of us, we'd like to know if there's anybody else down here with us. If there is, we have this device sitting on the stove. There's a couple devices there. And the one is a recorder. If you try talking, it may pick up your voice. We may be able to hear what you're saying. The other one with the red light on it, if you come near that, it will light up and let us know that you're here. Could you try telling us your name, please? Movement upstairs.
How old is this stove?
And we got some voices upstairs. Can you come near that stove for us to let us know that you're here?
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Yeah, now the closer you get, the louder and higher the tone will be. It'll make a higher pitched sound and different lights will come on. Can you try that? Yeah, see if you can get a little closer to it.
Let's try using that to ask you some questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let's start, just try to find out, did you used to live in this house? If you did, can you come near that and light it up? If you did not live in this house, can you come near that and light it up?
If you used to work here, can you come near that and light it up?
If you did not used to work here, can you come near that and light it up? We finished up in the basement, and there were some possible responses that were coming through with the REM pod down there.
Yeah.
You went off quite a few times compared to the other room where it didn't go off at all. Towards the end of the EVP session, the furnace kicked on.
So I'm not sure, what we'll be able to decipher out of that because that was kind of loud. But we came upstairs to the little girl's room, and she's afraid to sleep in here. So we're going to see if we can find out why. I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
And I'm Will.
And aside from the three of us, we'd like to know if there's anybody else here with us. Got a loud car going by out there. All right. You can use that device to communicate with us. Are you okay with the family that... Didn't quite get the question out there. What I want you to do, let's establish some guidelines. If you can light that up to green, if the answer is yes. If the answer is no, just leave it alone. Are you okay with the family that lives here?
Yeah, talking.
Are you for some reason unhappy?
I don't know. Answering like no.
I mean, I didn't even get the question out though, so...
No, but I'm thinking maybe that was an answer to the previous.
To the previous one, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to need to try to get some clarification if we can.
Mm-hmm.
If you're unhappy, I'm going to try to get the question out.
Maybe it's the same spirit that said, I want you to leave.
Yeah,
He's
that's,
trying to stop you from talking.
that could be because we were down in the basement and we didn't have the video going.
Yeah.
But one of the questions we asked, do you want us to leave?
Mm-hmm.
It lit up and then stopped lighting up after that.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Now, see, every time you ask a question, it seems to be lighting up.
Right. So let's try again. If you're unhappy for some reason with the family that lives here, can you light that up to green? We'll give it 30 seconds.
If you are happy with the family that lives here, can you light that up to green? We'll give it 30 seconds.
So we're not getting clear answers here.
No.
This time what we'll do is, like we did downstairs, kind of, if you want us to leave this room, light that up to green. But understand, before we do, we're going to need confirmation. So I'm going to ask you one more question after this one. Light it up to green if you want us to leave this room. 30 seconds. Okay. If you want us to stay here, or if you're okay with us staying here, can you light that up to green? There you have it. So,
I don't know what to think.
what I'm gathering, if these responses are accurate, that you're happy with us being here, you're okay with us being in this room, you don't want us to leave, yet you're unable to or not willing to answer our other questions. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you're willing to answer some questions for us, can you light that up to green?
If you're not willing to answer any questions for us, can you light that up to green? If you do, we'll leave and we'll stop asking you questions.
This thing's just messing with us.
If you'd like to hear Will sing, can you light that up to green, please?
I had a song ready to go.
Did you?
Yeah, I was waiting to hear that too. I wanted to hear
As
it.
soon as it turned green,
I was
gonna
hoping.
start going.
Do you want to see Will dance?
I don't know about all that.
If you'd like to see Will dance, light that up to green. This thing's messing with us. It's just,
Yeah, it sure seems like that
yeah.
because we're not getting any definite responses.
Yeah, it's almost like it's just being kind of purposely obstinate or, defiant in a sense.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't want to answer you.
Unless we got something on the audio, I don't think we're getting any definite answers from the REM
I
pod.
don't think so either.
So we had to drive 25 minutes to the closest Sheets, and sure enough, they have eggs, bacon, and hot dogs. The breakfast of champions
Yeah.
right here. So we're going to be enjoying this tomorrow.
Check this out. Sheets Bros Coffee. Iced coffee mocha flavor.
Oh, man.
Saw this in the little coffee section. I was like, I gotta try it.
That's going to be good.
I've never had coffee brand sheets like in a can.
That's going to be a
interesting.
solid can of coffee right there.
I'm excited. Mocha? Look at this. Sheets makes their own iced coffee.
Nice. Okay. Oh, that would be a good thing to try.
Delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll have to let us know how to taste.
So I gotta say, Will inspired me to get this Sheets mocha, and I cracked it open, and it was a pretty good choice. I think it was. It really was.
It's delicious. It actually tastes better than that Starbucks mocha. Have you had that one? Yeah, it tastes so much better.
I can't say that I've had, but this definitely moves. If we count this as Sheets coffee, yeah, we got to move it up to number 2 on the list, I think.
Easily.
Yeah.
There's a bug in the car.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
The vanilla.
Oh man, we know how that ends.
Oh no.
The vanilla's pretty good too.
You got the vanilla, yeah.
I did. Yeah, and that's quite good.
Now we're gonna go back, start up this campfire, cook
Yeah.
some hot dogs, Sheets hot dogs.
Yeah, eat some spicy Doritos, which are not
And-
really that spicy.
Share some campfire tales from beyond the grave. Food cooked over a campfire is the best.
It is.
It just is. And we got these hot dogs here. I'm not sure what brand they are. We'll have to check that out and get back to you.
We're not even sure they're beef or turkey or...
But right now it doesn't matter because we haven't eaten since Burger King. Some 10 hours ago, 12 hours ago, something ridiculous like that. So I'm looking forward to getting this thing on a bun.
So we were just sitting around the campfire and we're talking about the fact that Hershey Park is haunted. I hadn't heard a lot of stories about Hershey Park, but it made me think of this kind of subject. For some reason, I don't know whether it was a couple of years in the past, I read something that said that the most haunted places are the ones that are most frequented by humans, by living humans.
Yes.
They said that graveyards are not going to be haunted because there's no living people in graveyards. But if you go to a movie theater or a mall, and this brings up the whole subject of high schools, like there's a lot of haunted middle schools and high schools throughout Virginia, and it just baffles me the number of haunted schools. These are places that have tons of kids or tons of people in them at all times, and it makes you wonder if the ghosts of these people are actually attracted to the living for some reason.
So, bring that up, it's an interesting point, talking about high schools being haunted. I think a lot of spirits, and there's a case like this at a place that we investigated, the Weems Botts Museum. There's a lady who was elderly, passed away, and she appears in that house as herself as a child because this was a fond time for her. She had some wonderful memories of her childhood home and being a child there. That's how she appears. I wonder if some of these high schools are haunted because for a lot of people, their high school years were their best years. If their spirits come back, perhaps they come back to that place that holds fond memories. But it's interesting, amusement parks. I often talk about energy being associated with haunted places. These are places that have a lot of energy, a lot of fun was had there. And I wonder if that energy creates the perfect atmosphere for spirits, or even if it's not spirits that are attracted to that energy, but if it's residual energy. Residual hauntings of sounds, of laughter, of fun that was had in these amusement parks, that's still going on. Now, I've heard at Hershey Park that Milton Hershey himself has actually been seen wandering around the park. So it would be a cool place to investigate. I'm sure they'd never allow it. One more thing before I stop talking here. You mentioned movie theaters. Yorktown. Okay?
Yes.
The movie theater up there in Yorktown, it's in Tab, actually, is more so the area, but it's considered Yorktown.
Right.
There's a movie theater up there where we actually set up a table when they re-released Ghostbusters. They called us out there and they said, come and set up a table. It'd be cool to have actual ghost hunters here and stuff. So we did. Talking to some of the people, that movie theater is haunted.
Yes.
They'll be cleaning up at the end of the night. They'll see people sitting in the theater. They'll hear sounds in there. They saw somebody up in the projector room. Went up there was nobody in there. So yeah, movie theater's another place that's often haunted.
Right.
Yeah, so actually my work is haunted. So working at a grocery store.
You work in a fresh market.
Yeah. So working in a grocery store, there's a lot of emotion that runs high at work. You know, people working there for 20 years or so, there's a lot of emotions, whether it's negative, positive, whatever. So in our back room, there's been numerous occasions where someone has been seen walking into the produce prep room. Someone's been walking into the deli prep room when there's only 2 people there. And they're like, oh man, there's somebody still here before we lock up. Let's, get them out. And then they go in, there's nobody there. The lights are off. Everything's gone. One of the managers, he constantly hears his name called when it's just him and one other person in the building.
Really?
And the other person will corroborate with him and be like, yeah, I heard that. Like, someone said your name. And he's had it happen to him 3 times in the past few months since he's been working there. I haven't witnessed anything like that yet. And I asked him, I was like, do you want me to do an EVP session there and see what we got going on? Because it could be, at some point someone was yelling his name and now that residual energy just kind of keeps replaying itself.
That's right.
Or the spirits know 'em.
Possible. Yeah,
Spirits know 'em.
exactly. Because, people are constantly saying each other's names, or, you start to build the relationships with people, and probably whatever spirit is there is building those same relationships.
Yep.
So just so it happens at schools and at theme parks, it can also happen at a place of business as well. Because that's where we spend a lot of our lives, is
Yeah.
our work.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah, that's energy. Comes back to the energy. Well, bringing up an interesting point with the grocery stores being haunted. You may not think about it, but we actually investigated 2 different spirit Halloween stores. And the first one we did was some 5 years ago, maybe, down in Williamsburg. And this was an old grocery store. It was cool because you walked in there, the mirrors, they had pictures on them talking about employees, the way their uniform should look. And it looked like this was probably back from the 60s, 1960s. But this Spirit Halloween store was haunted. And it didn't seem like it was anything from the Spirit Halloween store. It seemed like it was stuff that was possibly from back when it was a grocery store. What happened there that caused this place to be haunted? Could it have just been the everyday lives of people going on, of people coming through the store, and that energy just leaving residual sounds and sights behind?
So my first question, of course, to Will is, what makes a grocer's life stressful?
Oh
Because
man, I can tell you, I've talked to a lot of grocers, and that is some stressful
I'm
stuff
like,
right there.
do you get stressed out when your fruit is like bruised? I mean, like I'm not really quite.
Customers,
I guess because I've never.
managers, all that stuff.
Well, I can see customers stressing you out because I have worked retail. I just haven't worked in a grocery store, so that's one thing. But what that makes me think of is something I also heard in the past or read in the past that was talking about wherever there is a lot of bloodshed, whether it be human blood or animal blood, that
fresh
attracts.
milk butchering those pigs you were talking about, that Boston butt.
Yeah,
right.
it it attracts dark spirits to those places. And there's what is that place out in Kentucky? It's supposedly has a demon in it.
Bobby
And
Mackey's.
Bobby Mackey's
Was a slaughterhouse.
used to be a slaughterhouse. It used to be, and they attribute the demon or the demons that hang out there to the fact that this used to be a slaughterhouse and that there was so much blood shed, because what they say is that the blood of animals that, or humans even, that seeps into the ground has high iron deposits. It causes high iron deposits into the ground. And for some reason, that is where the demons are attracted to. They find these places where there's high iron deposits in the ground. They know that there was probably bloodshed there. And because of that, for some reason, they're attracted to those places. So maybe it's the same thing with grocery stores. You got these guys walking around in white aprons, all bloodied
Stained
up.
with blood.
Yeah, usually big guys, with
Yeah,
all
big
stained up with blood.
Butch
big,
guys.
Big butchers,
Butcher,
yeah.
butchers.
Yeah, with a big knife.
Butchers.
Yeah, and yeah, and you never
Sometimes it's
know.
ladies.
It could be ladies, yeah, because ladies can cut some meat just as well as men
Some
can.
butcher
but-
ladies.
Yeah, but yeah, bloodshed, lots of bloodshed there.
Well, now that you mention that, it brings up an interesting point. We're sitting here around the campfire. I think it's time for Campfire Tales from Beyond the Grave. So a story that I'd like to tell for Campfire Tales from Beyond the Grave is about a place in York, Pennsylvania called the Seven Gates of Hell. Now, this is a place that has always intrigued me, but I've never been to. And this is apparently 7 gates that are out in the woods, and no one has ever made it through the 7th gate. They say that 7th gate actually leads to hell. Now, there's a lot of rumors as to why these 7 gates are there, and one of the most accepted rumors is, and of course this is urban legend, is that there was at one time an insane asylum there, and it's long since been torn down, and the gates are still there in the woods. But because of the negative energy and the tormented souls that were held behind those walls, it has actually opened a portal to hell. Now, I've had the opportunity to talk to quite a few people that have been through these gates. And one guy I talked to, he said his brother went, and he sat in the car, and his brother made it through the 3rd gate, came running back to the car, and would not talk about what he saw. He would not say anything about it. He was just very shaken up. Another person that I talked to actually had to go into a mental institution after going back to these 7 gates. And this was actually a friend of a friend. He said that he knew this girl that went back there. She came back so tormented that she just could not talk about what she saw, and she actually had to be committed. Sounds like a pretty scary place. So I actually got to talk to a guy that went through the gates. And he said as you go through these gates, they're just out there in the middle of the woods. It gets creepier and creepier the more gates you go through. And he said more and more things happen. You'll see things moving around or hear strange sounds. But he got through the 5th gate. And this is going to sound weird, but this is the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning. He walks through this 5th gate, and he said there was an old woman sitting there on a tree stump, just holding this cat and petting it. Now, an old woman petting a cat, oh, that's sweet. But at 2 o'clock in the morning, on the 5th gate of hell, that's not sweet. That's as scary as hell. So he took off and hauled out of there, never went back again. But I don't know anybody that's ever made it through that 7th gate. Now, I've heard that these gates are on private property now and they're not really accessible, but it is one place that has always intrigued me, and I would love to visit one day if we could ever get permission to go back there and see if it's true that you cannot actually get through this 7th gate.
So on my YouTube channel, I did a video about staircases in the woods. Some of the photos that you can find online are photoshopped, while others are, of course, real. Some people have seen stone staircases, wooden staircases. Some people have seen half of a home. Other people have seen an entire home, all dilapidated out in the woods. So depending on where you go, it could be a national forest, like Rocky Mountain National Park, or Smoky Mountains, anywhere. But people keep claiming that they will come across these stairs out in the woods. And strange things happen around these stairs. Some stories vary. If you climb up the stairs and go all the way up to the top, people have claimed to have gone through some sort of time vortex where they get up there and all of a sudden they're surrounded by people in old clothing that they didn't recognize, or they're transported into the future and don't know where they are exactly. While other people, when they go up there, all of a sudden their bodies just melt, and they saw one person, their eyeballs just went blank and milky and they became blind after going up there. But a lot of really crazy stories, varying from story to story. And the thing is, when people go back to those stairs, they're gone. But the creepy thing is, and I've heard this from a lot of park rangers for the National Park Service, whenever they're searching for a missing person out in the woods, and they're searching these hundreds of acres of woods, of uncharted woods, and they come across a staircase while they're looking for someone, they do not go near that staircase. Because if you go onto that staircase while you're looking for somebody, you will never find them. So they have had instances where they've had a park ranger looking for somebody, and if they actually go on the stairs, they will be fired on the spot, because that's how superstitious some of these park rangers really are. And I'm curious, for anyone that's watching, if you are a park ranger or know someone that is, I would like to hear some of the stories of these staircases in the woods. Personally, I've never seen one. I don't know if Jeff or Linda have ever seen one, but I would certainly love to, and to be able to see this phenomenon myself. These staircases, like I said, range in different varieties. Some are spiral staircases in the middle of nowhere. They're just stairs in the middle of the woods. So if you've seen one, if you have a picture of one or any stories of one, please comment that story down below so we can be able to check that out and share it with everyone.
Campfire tales from beyond the grave.
So one of the stories I want to tell here is one of the ones that you might hear if you come down and take one of the Yorktown ghost walks from Jeff. Jeff is actually the tour guide of a ghost walk down here in Yorktown. Yorktown is a place where I was born and raised, and it's a very, very haunted location. A lot of people think that nearby Williamsburg is one of the more haunted locations. They're wrong, okay? Yorktown has it as far as ghosts. It has so much more of a rich history than Williamsburg does. You know, it's just the things that went on there are just fascinating as far as historical value, but also because of the fact that this place was there during both the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, and during a fire in 1814 that swept through the town and pretty much demolished a great part of the town. You know, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of hauntings there. But everybody's heard of the Thomas Nelson House. If you've heard of Yorktown, you've heard of the Thomas Nelson House. And this place kind of holds a special value for me because Thomas Nelson, Scotch Tom is what they called him, built the house. He passed it down to his grandson, who was actually General Thomas Nelson. And General Thomas Nelson married this woman, and the woman was my ancestor. So that's kind of why I kind of sort of think that this is a special place for me. But in the early 1900s, there was a family by the last name of Blow that moved into this home. And this was a rumor going around before they had moved in that there was a British soldier who was a spirit in the home. And the story goes that on the day that Thomas Nelson was standing there with the Marquis de Lafayette overlooking the town, the Marquis de Lafayette said, you know what, we need to know exactly where the headquarters of the British would be. And without hesitation, Thomas Nelson raised his hand and pointed at his own home and said, that is exactly where they're going to be located. And that's where you need to fire your cannons. And that's what they did. They fired all of their armament right there on the Thomas Nelson home. And supposedly at this time, there was a man who was a British soldier, an officer, who hid in one of the secret staircases in the home just off the dining room. And one of the first cannonballs that came into the house actually penetrated the doorway to that staircase and killed the man instantly. And the British soldier is said to haunt this place to this day. Now, in the 1900s, this family moves in. They'd heard the rumors of it being haunted, but Mrs. Blow had never seen anything or heard anything that made her think that the place was haunted. But she has this sort of gathering of women around the dining room table. And one day, one of the women says, Mrs. Blow, what of this British soldier spirit that we hear that haunts your home? And Mrs. Blow said, well, I've never seen anything or heard anything that made me think that this place was haunted. And no sooner had she finished saying that when the doorway to this secret stairway blew open with such force that it knocked against the sideboard that held all of the porcelain dishes. They all went crashing to the floor and broke in 1,000 pieces right there on the floor. And of course, the women sitting around the dining room table were absolutely stunned by this. They sat there and just stared for a moment, and then she tried to pass it off as just a passing wind or a breeze, perhaps a gust of wind blew the door open or something of that nature. But later on, the woman who had asked the question, she went to her and said, Mrs. Blow said, I've never seen anything like that. She said, there's never been a gust of breeze that has blown that door open in the entire time we've been living here, and certainly no reason for it to have blown open now. But this British soldier is said to still haunt the Thomas Nelson home to this day, as well as many other spirits left over from when it was used as a Civil War hospital by both Union soldiers and the Confederates. And there's a Confederate soldier spirit in particular who is said to remain in the third floor attic space. So, if you ever get a chance, please come down to Yorktown, take the tour. It's not expensive. It's a fairly cheap tour, and you'll be filled with history and hauntings. And, it's just an extremely fascinating tour.
YorktownGhostWalks.com.
Yep.
So we woke up here and started to break down our camp, and I have to say, I had a fairly decent sleep, for the exception of waking up about every hour, mainly because of my pillow. I'm used to having more of a bulkier coat for my pillow, and this time I had shorts and this shirt that I'm wearing now were my pillow.
Yeah, so last night I actually had nightmares about spiders. I think it was probably from our conversation, but I would wake up and it seemed like there was like a big spider coming down from the top of my tent trying to attack me and everything. But other than the spiders, I slept pretty well.
So is that why you woke up like maybe 5 or 10 minutes after you went to bed?
Yeah.
Like in a start and turned on your light and flashed it around?
Yeah,
real quick?
because I thought that there was a huge spider in my tent, and there was nothing there.
Sounds like maybe you got an attachment of some sort.
Yeah. But see, like, I'm not scared of spiders, but at the same time, I don't want a giant spider in my tent.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
And we were talking about like poking things and baby spiders. crawling out of it and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah. See, y'all gave me nightmares. That's what it was.
So I slept good too, but kind of like Jeff, I woke up like every hour since about 8 o'clock, and I think most of the time it was because I was hot. I was starting to get hot. Somebody needs to really invent a different kind of tent, one that may be, you know, you may be able to waterproof, but is still breathable. For some reason, these little windows that they have in the very top of the door, they just don't provide a lot of cross ventilation. I know that's their intention, but I think Coleman could probably do it. Coleman is a pretty good company. They've got some good products. I think they could find a way to have a breathable tent, maybe with a larger canopy that is waterproof to prevent the rain from getting on.
Not sponsored by Coleman by any means.
What are you cooking over there, Jeff?
I am cooking some bacon, and because, you know, I wasn't thinking, we could have thrown the big pans and the big camping stove in the back of the truck, but I have the ones that we normally use for like our expeditions where we have everything in a backpack. So I have a smaller pan here. So I'm cooking it up 2 pieces at a time, and then what we're gonna do is take some eggs and cook them in the bacon grease. So it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be, I like, even breakfast tastes better camping. It's not over a campfire, but something about eating in the woods and the sound of that bacon just sizzling in the pan. It's quite a magical sound, isn't it? You know how they make like the rain sounds and stuff that people can fall asleep to? They should make one that's like a bacon sizzling or a coffee pot percolating.
Yeah,
I think that would be, sounds of camping.
There you go.
Good ambiance.
Yeah.
So we packed up our camp, and before we leave, we just wanted to come down here and take a look at Holliday Lake. Looks like a pretty nice area, does it not?
It's beautiful. That water looks like it feels great.
Yeah,
It's so hot right now.
if I knew that was here, I would have probably gone swimming instead of taking a shower this morning.
Yeah.
So over here, they got a nice little concession stand and some bathrooms, and it's a pretty big lake. There's a beach area out here where you can lay in the sand and swim. You can see people kayaking out there. And down here, it looks like we got a boat rental area. Too bad we don't have more time, because I'll tell you what, this would be a nice place to spend the day.
Yeah, you can go fishing here too.
Fishing, swimming, you can rent some paddle boats. So it looks like, I mean, it's a beautiful lake, it really
You
is.
gotta do a return trip now.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
definitely have to come back here. I do like this park. Well, we're gonna get on the road to Wytheville, and before we leave, there's only one thing left to do.
Got to.
So we made a quick stop here in Appomattox, and we're gonna go up here and see the McLean House, where Lee surrendered to Grant, thus ending the Civil War. Never seen it. Driven past it so many times, and this time we said, you know what, we gotta stop. We gotta take a look at
It's
it.
free to look at it.
Right.
So might as well.
Right, and the park ranger, he told us that if you come here, come by this historical park, it's quite a place. Most of the buildings are open, you can tour them. Just wear the face mask if you go inside.
Ready for a tour?
All right, well, if y'all want to tour the house, y'all are free to go in.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Hey, Coach, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Parlor right there is what you came to see. That's the room where it happened.
This is where it happened, right in here. Oh, wow. And look at this rendition. Is this the actual furniture that was here and everything, or is it?
The couch to your right and the bases on the mantelpiece are original. Everything else is a copy made from the original piece that's now in the museum.
Okay.
Wow. So if this couch could talk, huh? It had some stories to tell. That's amazing to see that, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that little one on the ground there? It's got the key on it.
Now, not all those men were in the room at the same time. It would have been a little tight.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sure would have.
But most of the grants officers were out on the porch during the meeting. He did have 5 to 7 men with him, some in and out, but Ely Parker was here the whole time. Captain Robert Todd Lincoln was here the whole time. Generals Ord and General Sheridan were here the whole time.
Yeah, thank you for still being open.
Well, we're happy to be here.
Going downstairs in the McLean House. Yeah. With the old stove.
I'm 5'10" and still hit my head on the stairs.
Yeah, they didn't make them the code back then, I suppose, huh? I wonder what year this house is. I also wonder if that's the McLean's portraits on the wall. So this is the old slave quarters for the McLean farm. And next to us here, we got the summer kitchen. Let's take a look inside before we get back on the road here. I have to say, this is definitely an awesome area to come and check out. There's so many buildings that you can walk through. And if we had a day or two to spend here, we definitely would.
There's a lot of houses.
There is.
Here. Like, we didn't even look at the courthouse. It's here.
Right, right. So it's pretty cool being in this building where such a significant event in history happened. You know, it really is, just to be there and to think that these men sat there back in 1865 and changed the future of our nation.
That's the interesting thing about history, is some of the most grand things that you think of, like the end of the Civil War, you expect the room to be this huge room and very ornate and everything else, but it's some guy's little parlor off to the left of his house in this small little room. A very simple setup. Like, imagine you're just living your normal everyday life, and then these soldiers come into your living room and they're like, this is where we're gonna sign the end of the war.
Yep.
You know?
And your house is gonna be marked down in the history books as where, you know, a very significant event happened.
Yeah, it's very homely when you walk inside it. It doesn't feel like, wow, this is a significant space. It just looks normal.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So we're driving down the road somewhere in Virginia and talking about looking for a place to eat. And we almost stopped at this country cooking place, but it looked like a sit-down restaurant that we didn't really have time for. So we're driving down the road, and sure enough, there's that beacon known as Sheets. So we stopped in here to get a snack to perhaps hold us over till dinner.
So I'm thinking about a salad because it's a little bit light. I'm still a little bit full from breakfast. But I was looking at the salad menu. Look at this thing called the steak and fries chicken salad.
That is my kind of salad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes,
we need more time.
Yeah,
we
that
always
might be
need
too
more
much.
time. There it is, one more time. Steak and fries chicken salad.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it has steak and chicken with French fries.
And some boom boom sauce, onions, cheese, ranch, and lettuce.
Right.
Not gonna go for it though.
No. That's a little bit too crazy to have French fries on your salad. They do, I know.
All right, so they got the outside tables open.
They do.
Finally get to eat at Sheets for the first time since I believe before the quarantine. This is our first time eating here at Sheets. Like
Right.
actually at a table at Sheets.
Yep.
Be it outside or inside. Now unveiling some things here. That over there, I could be mistaken, but that looks like the big salad.
It is. It's fairly big salad. This is not nearly as big as I have seen it. Sometimes they fill it like all the way to the top, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't this time, because when you see that much, you feel compelled to eat it.
Right.
And I don't want to have to eat that much. Like I just wanted a little bit of salad. So.
And no fries on the salad.
Right,
huh?
but I don't think they serve a side salad, which is the one thing that I was kind of, like looking for, but.
And of course, who's that? That looks like Scoob. And sure enough, it is. From the new Scoob movie. They have Scoob pop-ups. And you push the button, you slide it up, and the lollipop comes out the top just like that.
Yep,
How cool is that?
it is. And that's not for Jeff. We actually do have a little girl at home that would like that.
Right,
So.
right. But even if we didn't, I would probably still get it. Because you can't walk by something Scooby-Doo nowadays and not purchase it.
True.
It's so few and far between. Will, what'd you get over there?
Well, I'm trying to have like a light lunch so that way I can have a decent sized dinner. So I went ahead and got some honey roasted peanuts.
Sheets brand.
Yeah. So it's less than 500 calories. So it's just
geez.
a little quick pick me up, you know.
That's good. That's exactly what I was thinking. As I picked out my meal here, I've been thirsty all day, so I got a big water. But I was thinking, it's just like Will, we're gonna need to get something to eat later on because it's still only like 2 o'clock. So who knows what unique places we'll find in Wytheville, if any. If not, it'll probably be another Sheets. So I just went for a buffalo chicken sandwich, and this was one that made to order I put together myself. It's got heavy buffalo sauce, fire roasted tomato. It's got some jalapeno ranch, pickles, tomato, and lettuce because I like to be healthy. So kind of a light lunch and a little bite to start off with.
That's such a big bite.
That's a good sandwich.
You can actually see the outside of the Octagon by being in this room, because this was built in 1990. Yeah, it is a weird little room. You're literally floating in the air.
All right, venturing into the basement.
So right here, these are the original
Oh,
stairs.
wow.
Okay.
And
They're
it
still
literally
in
goes to
place.
nowhere.
Oh.
They seal it off like I showed you that
Yeah,
flooring.
like the
up
Winchester
stairs.
house.
It's very active, and I will tell you, and I don't tell a lot of people because I find it humorous, but there is a bat down here.
Oh,
So
okay.
be aware of that. If you see things flying around, it's not demons. It
Okay.
literally is. It literally
Yeah.
is a bat. And I do also want to note that there's no negative energy here. So
Okay.
you're not in for, scratches or any nefarious stuff happening to you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't exist.
Quite an amazing place.
Yes, it is. I know.
Yeah, you could spend all day looking around in here. So we're here at the Octagon Mansion. As you just saw in some of the clips, we took the tour. And I have to say, this is an amazing place. It's an amazing collection that is here. And I think they said they're going to open this up as a museum on Labor Day.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it for anyone who
Definitely.
has the least appreciation for history
Right.
place to come. Revolutionary War, Civil War, just the memorabilia and the
Yes.
house itself, the authentic uniforms from the Revolutionary War. I don't think I've ever seen one
Yeah.
firsthand
And he has
that
two
was
of them.
worn. Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, he's got more that he's gonna be putting up. I mean, worn in the War for Independence.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's an amazing thing to be that close to something like that. It's like being close to a hero.
Yeah.
You
It
know.
is.
But we're going to be showing some clips throughout the night. We'll be catching back up for here. I believe there's probably going to be a Sheets run later on. But we got a couple other things going on in this video. This investigation will be a standalone video on our channel.
Right.
Also, and of course, like I said, this is kind of irrelevant at this point, but just so everyone that's watching knows what's going on over the course of the night. At 8:30, shortly before 8:30, we're going to be doing a little bit of a Facebook Live, kind of an introduction. We're setting up and telling people to tune in at 8:30. Because at 8:30, we're going to be doing YouTube Live for 2 hours. So check in before that.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to the Gas, Grub, and Ghost after that.
Yeah.
Perhaps after that live thing will be time for that Sheets run.
Yeah, that
You know,
sounds good.
10:30 sounds like a good time for a Sheets run.
It does, yeah. So I think we definitely need to start thinking about what we're going to put and where we're going to put it. You know, we have the surveillance system. This is a very large place, and I'm willing to bet that there's a couple of cords that won't reach into the farthest points. So we have to be very strategic, I guess, with the placement of cameras and with the placement of perhaps action cameras that don't require wires or electricity of any sort. So I have to think about that a little bit.
Yeah. I know definitely we want to have a camera upstairs in the little children's room. Maybe not the smaller one, but that big one that had the ball on the carpet. That seems like that I felt like that room would have a lot of activity when I walked into it.
Yeah.
Definitely have something up there. We could use my little action camera in the basement if we were able to, because I know that that's a far reach for our cords to go out.
It
While that
is.
one is its own little camera, I can leave that running all night,
Right.
or at least as long as it can. What other camera placements do you guys think?
Well, I think one thing too to consider is we have the motion lights, right? So we want to think about maybe the rooms that have some of the most activity to put those motion lights in front of.
And with the camera?
To put the motion lights in front of those cameras, yeah. And I know he mentioned a little girl that was here, possibly died of polio.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't know, I guess, I never knew, Wytheville had a polio epidemic in the early 50s.
Yeah.
And it was pretty bad. The town was shut down. You couldn't leave. You couldn't come into town.
Yeah.
Had to drive with your windows up, as he was saying. But this little girl is apparently here. And I think if we put a camera in that room with a motion light, a child's spirit, if they see this motion light and they see that, it comes on when I move in front of it, it may intrigue them. And also, if she's here, she's one that we definitely want to see if we can help at all.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So we want to have that ability for her to communicate at all times in the room where he sees her.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I think they also said that some of the downstairs area that was the newer 1950s bake area was also had some activity.
Down here
That's
in the very
what
room we're in.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
what we're standing in. So it might even be worth it to put one down here because indeed, when you walk in upstairs from where we are right now into that newer part of the house, it kind of feels a little bit different. So I would like to put something directly upstairs in this upstairs room here, and see if we can find something. Maybe even if it's not a camera, find something down to put down here as well.
Am I mistaken, or was this the area where he said there were some graves? Was this the area that they built over the graves?
This whole addition right here.
Yeah, right
was-
here. They
yeah.
built this. This addition was actually built in the 90s.
Right.
And he said there were some very old graves.
8.
Yeah.
He said up to 8
graves.
graves.
8 graves. So that's probably why there's activity in this area.
Yeah.
And this area, if you think about it, though, if our base station is right in there, we probably don't really need any cameras out here.
No, not necessarily, but I mean, it's always the places where you're not monitoring that I think.
That things happen.
Yeah. that
That's
things
always
tend to
right.
happen,
That is
so,
true.
you know, might be worth it to try something or put something down here, at least on a temporary basis.
Right.
Okay, so we have a motion detection light. So let's go ahead and test it. We put it into a dark room. If I walk in front of it, we want to see what kind of sensitivity this light has.
Yeah, we tried this on the stairs and it didn't work.
Yes.
But it says it
Cut
needs
on
low
right away.
light. So yeah, I saw it come on as soon as you walked in. So that's the thing. What it needs is low light for it to operate. On the stairs, it was too bright.
Yeah, which in this house tonight, there's going to be no electricity in the old part of the house at all. So there's absolutely, it's going to be pitch black, especially down in the basement, upstairs. So yeah, it'll work just fine.
That'll be perfect. All right, so we're running the cameras here. Somehow these cords always manage to get tangled up though, don't they?
I think it was me. That was my fault. This had to have been my doing.
All right, so we're sitting here in our base station, monitoring the cameras, and we just finished up with our live feed on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to tune in, we'll tag it at the end of the video. We'll link it at the end of the video if we can. But yes, it was indeed a lot of fun. It was a good time. It was great to be able to interact with people, to be able to answer some questions, and to have people interact with the investigation. We really appreciate everybody that tuned in. Were able to give us some questions to ask during the EVP sessions and their thoughts on some of the things we were doing, and got to see Will sit alone in the basement.
Yeah.
That's not the only time he's going to do that, though, because what we're going to do now is we're going to film the rest of the investigation and put that together into a video that'll be out on our YouTube channel as well.
Right.
And I think Will will find himself in the basement again.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because he mentioned how much he liked it down there
I
and
loved it.
couldn't wait to go back. So
And here's the thing. The homeowner was talking about how sometimes the paranormal investigators that have been here, they've gotten more activity in between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m.
Right.
So we've just started, you know. So when we begin the case files video and we start filming that portion of the investigation, I expect to get more activity.
Absolutely. That water throws me off every
I
time.
know.
But we're getting ready to do a sheets run. Okay, we've
You're
been
hungry.
right. We did that 2-hour live feed.
Yeah.
Worked up an appetite. My stomach was growling during some EVP sessions.
Yeah.
You know,
My
Will and
stomach
Linda
was
were running
growling.
out of the room like, "Oh, there's a demon." I was like, "No, it's my stomach. Just come back." Someone mentioned sheets a couple hours ago, and ever since then, it's been growling at me.
Yeah.
Let's take a minute to answer a viewer comment.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do a live question from our previous video. It was the Into the Woods video. And Chris Masters asks, Jeff, don't discount yells and screams that animals make as possible paranormal sounds. When I was a fairly new soldier, we were playing war games at a National Guard base in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I was by myself scouting for the enemy forces, setting up an observation point to track their movements. A few minutes later, I heard the worst blood-curdling scream I've ever heard in my life, and about pooped my pants. It turns out there was a coyote making that scream, and then another one joined in. I didn't know what it was when it started the scream, however. The only thing I could come up with is some kind of banshee. Like I said, the scream had a natural source, but at the time, I didn't know what coyote sounded like, and it really scared me. There's the bat. Sorry.
Oh,
the bat was just flying right there.
Ah.
There it is. There, it just went by again. See it flying around? There,
Yeah,
there it goes. There it is.
See that?
Wow. There is a bat down there.
cool.
So I'm about to go down to the basement with the bat. It's flying around now. That's crazy. Wow.
That's
So
exciting.
what do you guys think about the question from Chris?
He's absolutely right as far as there being a lot of sounds that come from the woods that really could sound like somebody screaming. I know I've heard people in the past say that foxes will do the same thing when, I don't know, when they're in heat or something. But the thing about it is that with this particular lady, she had been in the woods. This had been her family land for years. She was born and raised in that area, and she was really, really familiar with the sounds that animals make. And so she was very confident that this was not any sort of animal. She has heard foxes, she's heard coyotes, she's heard all of that a multitude of times. and knows exactly what those things sound like versus what this sort of wailing woman sounds like. And so, you know, I don't think she really would have even mentioned it or called us and said anything about that wailing woman in the woods if she wasn't 100% sure herself that this was not an animal of some sort.
I gotta say, this is like an oasis in the desert right here. Linda, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm trying to click on burgers here. I'm thinking that might be what I end up getting, but I'm not real sure what to get because they have so many burgers and they're so good.
Yeah, now I had chicken for lunch, so I think I gotta get burger for dinner. And I'm gonna go all out on this build your own burger. Like, this is gonna be something that holds me over till morning, for sure. So of course we're gonna do the unveiling back at the place because we're gonna take it back and eat outside there maybe. But Will, what'd you decide to go for?
This time around, I went for chicken tenders.
Oh, yeah.
Different, chicken tenders with some boom boom sauce and
Boom
some ranch.
boom. Good choice.
And curly fries cut.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Look what I got. Check this out.
Popcorn
M&M
flavored
popcorn.
M&Ms. What in the world?
Isn't that cool?
I can't believe that's actually a thing.
I know, it is now. I've never seen it before, but it's a thing now, so I had to try them.
I'm gonna have to try those
Absolutely
too.
have to.
Yeah, I've got to try that. I'm sure it'll go good with my MTO burger, which just to kind of give you a little preview, it has a burger with a traditional bun toasted, jalapeno bites, which are like jalapeno poppers, pepper jack cheese, fire roasted tomato sauce, habanero sauce, lettuce, sliced tomatoes, pickles, caramelized onions, jalapenos, mild pepper rings, black olives, and bacon. So we're going to be unveiling that
That's ridiculous.
in a few moments right here on Gas, Grub, and Ghost. Stay tuned.
So I got some curly fries, dipping them into some boom boom sauce. Got to.
Good choice. Now, how do those curly fries compare to Arby's?
You know what? I think these are better. Yeah,
They are
these
better.
are better than Arby's curly fries. And then in here, I have some chicken tenders. Dipping that into some ranch, and then dip the other half into some boom boom sauce.
Oh,
there you
man.
go. Got the double-edged sword, you know.
Double-edged sword. That's a whole new meaning to double dip. That was an obnoxious bite. He put the whole thing in his mouth.
So, what I had was a pretzel bun. It was one of their signature burgers, and I forget what they call it. It was like something Swiss, but it's got boom boom sauce and pickles and a burger patty and bacon and maybe one other thing on there, but it's amazing. It's actually really, really good. First time I've ever had that. And then we got an app platter, which has these mac and cheese bites, mozzarella sticks, and tater tots. And we also got some of the curly fries ourselves. So I think Jeff was going to split the app platter and the curly fries with me so that we had a little bit of everything.
Absolutely. And I'm going to unveil this burger that had this laundry list of ingredients that I read off earlier. Man, look at that. Put all the ingredients on there. So receipts long enough to be wrapping paper.
Let's see that thing.
All right, so here it is.
Oh, geez.
Look at this thing. You can see the jalapeno poppers and the jalapeno peppers and mild peppers and the pickles and all the other stuff that I read off, and lettuce because I like to be healthy. So let's go ahead and take a taste of this sandwich right here.
It smells really hot, too.
If
Spicy.
I could not
You
have
can
stuff
smell the
fall off, it'd be
jalapeno on
good.
it. Oh, man. Jeez.
That's a good burger. So we've been investigating for quite some time. It's actually 2 in the morning here.
Wow.
2:17 to be exact. And this is when the activity happens, between 2 and 4. And I gotta say, there's been some strange sounds up here in these rooms where we're sitting up here in the dark. Complete blackout mode
Yeah, it sounded like someone was walking downstairs. Sounded like someone was walking up here. And then also when we were in this room, Jeff saw, looked like someone moved in between the light that was reflecting off the wall here. And then myself, when I was sitting up against the wall and I was able to look out this way, it looked like a child's head was right here, peeked out, looked at me, and then went right back behind this wall. That's what I saw with my naked eye. I'm curious to see if this camera picked it up as well.
Yeah, some interesting stuff. So we set up some dominoes here.
Yeah, so the idea is that while we're downstairs, we'll maybe ask for them to play with it. Or if we hear it fall, you'll definitely be able to know that if anything fell up here, it's going to be these dominoes. When it falls, you'll hear it hit the stairs, you'll hear it, of course, fall up here. So it'll have a very distinct sound compared to anything else. So I just wanted to set it up as a little test. Like if a child comes by and wants to play with them, then there we go.
So it's 9:39 in the morning, and we're packing up, about to head out of here. And I have to say I had a pretty good sleep last night. A few strange dreams, but it was definitely an interesting time. There was a lot of strange noises
All night.
that we really couldn't pinpoint the source of, which was fairly unique. We don't always have that happen on an investigation by any means. Well, you stayed upstairs on that antique couch,
Yeah.
and that's where you slept last night. How was that?
I kept waking up like every hour, but the whole night I kept hearing noises. It wasn't just, or it wasn't in the room that I was in, but it was all over the house. It sounded like someone was walking around. They were making a bunch of noises. But on top of that, I kept seeing stuff. Just like I did at that other investigation where I slept in the bed and I saw what looked like someone come out the window, the mirror, and someone else at the end of the bed. I saw similar things when I was sleeping on the couch. I would wake up feeling like I was being watched, and I looked at the doorway into the dining room, and in that doorway, I saw a chair. It looked like any other chair that was in the room, and then I'm kind of scanning around looking to see if I see anybody or anything else, and then all of a sudden that chair in the doorway just kind of fades away. It was as if someone was sitting in the doorway watching me. And then the next thing that I saw that really scared me was I was looking around, and the Revolutionary War coat was in my vision, and next to that case it looked like there was a head peeping out from behind the case. It had a long nose, a white face, bald head, and he had a big gash like across his head right here, and he was just like looking at me from outside the case, and it scared me so bad, like it woke me up. But I don't know if that's something that my mind conjured or if that's something that's attached to that coat.
Do you think you would recognize the guy if you actually saw him? Saw a photograph of him?
If I actually saw a photograph of him, yeah, absolutely. But I guess if it's probably Revolutionary War, it would be a painting. So I don't know how close that would be to it.
Right.
But he definitely had an elongated face and bald head. He might have had like a small beard down here, but he had a huge gash right here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Someone really is. And that uniform, we were talking about that last night too. And we were saying how, and I'm not sure if we saw it on here or not, but we definitely showed it in the live feed. This Revolutionary War uniform, you don't realize it. We've never even seen this in a picture. Other than reenactors, we've never seen, or I have never seen a Revolutionary War uniform, because all the pictures from the Revolutionary War are actually paintings, artist renditions.
Right.
So actually seeing one in person, you see what one actually looked like. And it was pretty neat being that close to history.
Yeah.
And you could only imagine where someone like that could be attached to this uniform. We were talking about war being a trying time, a time of strong emotion, a lot that was felt out there in the battlefield. And you could see why somebody could very well be attached to that uniform.
Yeah.
Especially one that was worn in such a significant war.
All that emotion, seeing their friends die on the battlefield.
That's right. But we've packed up. We're getting ready to get on the road here. And I think the first order of business is that second G.
Breakfast.
That's right. So we found a unique restaurant here in Wytheville that we're going to stop and get some breakfast at. Grayson's Family Restaurant?
Yeah, Grayson's Restaurant.
Excited. I like these little mom and pop places. They always seem to have the best food.
Right.
A unique experience.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not that Sheets isn't a unique experience, but it's not as unique as like a one-of-a-kind place.
Right.
You know, it's not like a cookie cutter type store.
Yeah, yeah.
So we need to go in here and check it out. Let's see what they have to offer on the menu. I'm ready for some breakfast.
Me too.
So I gotta say, my first impression when I walk in this place, it smells amazing.
It does.
Does it not?
Yes, it does. I really like the smell of it. You can tell that it's just a nice kind of homey family restaurant. I like the atmosphere. I like the artwork. They have some artwork up on the walls from the local area. Kind of cool perspectives of different buildings that are, landmarks within the town of Wytheville. So, and of course, there's a lot of people here, so it must be a really good restaurant.
It must be. It must be. This was, of course, your choice. So I got to thank you for that because I like finding these hole-in-the-wall places. Not hole-in-the-wall, but, like I said, that are just one-of-a-kind, unique.
Place that we'll never come back to ever again, but it's like, here
Exactly.
Right. And we say that, and then we end up finding ourselves back
here
past.
again.
Yeah. Next
Let's
time we're back
stop
by
at
Wytheville.
Yeah. What I thought was ingenious is in their menu. Not only do they have the food and stuff, but she asked, hey, what would you like to drink? I flipped it over looking for the drink menu, and then I noticed all the items have a drink up there. And so it brought my eye to it because I'm like, well, I want a coffee anyway. I might as well get this thing that says coffee next to it. So it's like, let me go ahead and just order this since I want my coffee.
That's right.
That's kind of ingenious. That's pretty good.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. And to include the drink with the meal.
Right, exactly.
So that way, when you think about the coffee or whatever you want, you're like, oh, let me get this thing it's attached to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw some of those plates come up on the window there, and they look very amazing. They look really, really good.
They
Good
sure
portion.
did.
So, yes.
I'm brewing some fresh coffee.
All right, great.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Y'all take cream and sugar?
Touching up on that investigation last night, we didn't do a whole lot of footage on this
Right.
because of all the other cameras we had going. I was running the IR camera, the 4K camera, so that I could put together an additional video of the midnight portion of the investigation.
Right.
And we were also doing live footage for a portion of time, so there were just a few clips on here. I'm not 100% sure we really showed the inside of that house with all its grandeur.
Yeah,
I mean, this
that
was
was
an
nice.
amazing place.
It was.
It really was. This museum's going to open around Labor Day. I believe he said Labor Day is going to open. You need to go there and check it out.
Yeah, we
Right.
definitely do. Yeah, and he's actually planning on doing a lot more work in the place as well. He's got a lot more to the collection that still needs to be added to the building. But just what he has in there right now is worth going in and walking around and taking a look because he has some things that are just one of a kind. You're
You
not
could
going to
spend
see
a
these
day.
things. Yeah, you're not going to see these things anywhere else. And it's one of those things that like the way he has the displays set up, you can stand there at one table and stare at this one table for like 30 minutes because there's so much stuff on that table and so many little things of interest that it's well worth it. If you appreciate, the Revolutionary War or the Civil War, you definitely have to go out and see that.
Just any history, antiques,
Yes.
old pictures from Mardi Gras and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, there was a lot of neat things that he had there.
There was.
Where I would recommend coming here just for that.
Yeah.
Come here just to check out this place because not only was that house amazing, the town.
Right.
you go down Main Street. It's a really neat small town USA Main Street. A lot of cool shops. They had like a vinyl shop and a local art shop.
Yeah, it's a
and
beautiful little town.
a bunch of little restaurants.
Yeah.
The Log Cabin restaurant looks good.
It's from 1776.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and it's kind of nestled into a valley. The bottom of the valley has some hills, so you see kind of the residential neighborhoods spread out over these hilltops, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous town.
Well, what about your thoughts on the investigation last night?
Yeah. Well, we heard a lot of noises. It sounded like there was another person in the building with us because of how loud the footsteps were. Normally a house kind of settles down and stops making all those noises. But over the night, you kept hearing a lot of noises, like someone was walking up the stairs, someone was walking around the house. It sounded like at some point that Linda was coming up to come join you and I on the second floor, and then no one was there. So I think it's really interesting that we didn't really hear noises in the room that we were in. We heard noises in other rooms of the house. And then whenever we would go to those rooms, all of a sudden that noise would leave that room and go somewhere else. It was as if it was trying to stay away from our cameras, our recorders and stuff. Something else that we didn't point out because we didn't know this, but in the library portion of the house, there is a little candle that if you twist it, it'll cut on, twist it, it cuts off. When we went in last night, we saw that light near the fireplace on and didn't think anything of it. And then this morning, the guy asked us, "Hey, was that light on?" We're like, what light are you talking about? And he said, "Oh yeah, the candle on the fireplace." And that was on all night. And he said that he turned it off before he left. And sure enough, this morning, the candle was off. So at some point, someone turned it on.
Yeah, and none of us went near it, of course. I noticed it on when I walked into the room with the IR camera, and I thought it was just maybe because it's the only light that's on in there. But if it wasn't on, maybe part of the reason I noticed it because it was something that was different than the first time I was in that room.
Yeah.
You know?
The one thing that I think about too is we have one of those candles sitting on top of one of the shelves in our house, remember? Mm-hmm. And there was one morning when I woke up and for some reason that thing was on. Like this candle had not turned on by itself at all. It had been sitting there for months and months and months since the last Christmas because we forgot to put it away for after Christmas. But this candle, it was the same exact style. You had to kind of screw the bulb in to get it to turn on. And for some reason, just this one morning, I woke up and I'm like, what the hell is that light on for? It was just odd. So, but that's our ghost lady that lives in our house.
Could be. I don't know. But whether you're, like I said, a history connoisseur or for the paranormal factor, come to this place because if you like haunted places, this is the place to come. It really is. I mean, it's one of the more active places because you go to a lot of, and I was even telling the guy that runs the place, you go to a lot of places that are labeled the most haunted place in the state. You know, there's quite a few places that hold that title, and quite a few of them we've been to, and some of them, nothing's happened all night.
Right.
You just sit there completely silent.
Yeah.
And you get to a place like this and stuff's happening. You know, stuff is happening. And I have to say, it's another interesting thing to think. We did a 2-hour live portion.
Yeah.
We were wandering around there for a couple hours, doing investigation. A few things here and there.
Right.
But really the bulk of it happened after midnight.
Yeah.
Probably between midnight and 4 a.m. is when a lot of the stuff happened.
When I was asleep, of course.
Right.
Yeah. After midnight, that's when we saw shadows in the house. We saw things pass in between lights. I saw what looked like a little girl's or a little child's head peep out from the corner and look at us while we were in the room. And then we had the radio mysteriously go off. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. That was kind of eerie. It was like Linda, she was sleeping downstairs with the radio next to her, and me and Will were upstairs doing an EVP session. The radio gets keyed. Like someone keyed her radio like they were trying to call us, and I thought it was her. She didn't respond. Go downstairs, she's sleeping. My radio immediately died after that.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
I mean, the battery was low at first.
was, so that's
and this wasn't the battery low squelch that it makes. This was clearly like someone keyed the mic for a few seconds, like they were trying to talk,
Right.
and we didn't hear any voice on there, so we're like, all right, she's keying the mic. So I sent her a text. She obviously didn't get it because she was sleeping. So the food has arrived. And this is one breakfast right here. It comes with a large pancake, sausage or bacon, hash browns, eggs your choice, and biscuits and gravy. And it comes with the coffee. Will, you got the lumberjack over there. 2 big eggs. Wow. 2 big pancakes.
This pancake just melts in your mouth.
That's a huge pancake too.
Oh man. Way better than IHOP, I gotta say.
Yeah.
This is what I'm excited about. It has been, like, I must have been a kid the last time I had sausage gravy on, like, a biscuit.
Yeah.
And this is, so I'm, like, extremely excited about this. 2 big biscuits, too.
Yeah, they are. That's like any one of these plates is basically like breakfast. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And you get 3 of them with one order and a coffee for like $9. It's very, very affordable.
It is. Good price. Oh, that's good.
Homemade biscuits, perhaps?
Probably. They taste like it. Those are really good.
Normally when you ask for over easy eggs, they're always like, even the whites of the eggs are so runny. Well, this is perfect. Like, this is a solid egg with the yolk. Because normally if you ask over medium, sometimes the yolk is too cooked. And I like the yolk. But when you ask for over easy, sometimes this is runny. But this is perfect. A perfect egg, a perfect pancake, a perfect breakfast.
Yeah, it is. And you can see, I've been making short work of my food here.
Yeah.
And it is, everything is very good. Very
It is.
good.
Extremely good. Scrambled eggs are great. The sausage, it's kind of funny because it's hard to find sausage that has the right taste and the right texture. This is perfect. And I wish we could find one like this in the grocery store at home. It's really, really good.
Here's a comment from the user Anita Nash. It asks, if I could have one wish in my life, it would be that anyone who calls him or herself an investigator would get the knowledge and experience like your team has. It bothers me to see people provoke and play around with something they know very little about.
Well, Anita, first off, we really appreciate the compliment. We try very hard to be knowledgeable about what we do and to be very serious about it. None of us really understand everything about the paranormal, and it's always a big question mark. There's a lot to be discovered about it, and because of that, we feel like it's just dangerous to go out there and try to provoke things or to be disrespectful or to talk down to spirits. I've seen a lot of investigators do that, and they just don't take it seriously. It's almost like they're just in it for the thrill of being able to have that paranormal experience, and not necessarily because they're truly trying to find some information about the afterlife like we do. So I totally agree with you. That really bothers us that other investigators are out there doing that. It gives us all a bad name. I know there's some groups out there like us who really take it seriously and do it the right way, but we're kind of few and far between nowadays. So we really do appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much.
All right, well, our next viewer comment comes from Steve Reynolds, and this was on our Into the Haunted Woods video, the expedition that we did. And he says, I'm sure y'all were packing heat up there, ? Do you want to elaborate on whether or not we were packing heat and what we did with that heat?
Yeah, so on that particular video, we had a gas grub and ghost video that was separate. I believe that was the wreck of the old 97 video. In that we were shooting guns at that campsite. So yes, we did pack heat. However, I did not bring any guns of my own. These guys did. And we felt pretty safe out there. No Bigfoots were gonna get us or anything like that. But it was pretty scary being out there in the woods all alone. For that particular camp, I was a terrible shot. I missed every single shot. I even missed the can point blank range, a couple inches from it.
But you did get it when you went up and kicked it.
I kicked it, yeah. I beat the cans with the club, so that's how I knocked them down. All right, Jeff, we have another comment. This one is from Marlene Paul. It says, OMG, Bojangles is my favorite, and so is the Dirty Rice. I love it. I was born and raised in Maryland, but live in Pennsylvania for now. My next stop is living in the South. Maryland has a lot to offer, like Assateague Island on the ocean, Thurmont, which is very small mountains, but it is beautiful. The Chesapeake Bay is one of the wonders of the world, and I know there is a lot of history. I'm also finding that Pennsylvania has an extreme amount of history, and not just in Gettysburg. Going there tomorrow for the bikers in Gettysburg if it doesn't rain. I love your channel, and thank you for keeping it real. What do you say to that, Jeff?
Well, I want to thank you for getting on board with the in the last Gas, Grub, and Ghost video, the one that this was posted on. I asked people to tell us what they love about their state in my effort to try to get people to stand up for their state and say good things about it. So I really love that you came forward with some things that are really wonderful about Pennsylvania and Maryland. And I have to say, I'm sitting up here right now. I actually have on a Philly shirt because I'm quite fond of Pennsylvania myself. I grew up about 15 minutes from the Pennsylvania border in Wilmington, Delaware. So we would go up to Pennsylvania all the time camping. I think we're actually going to go up there next weekend. Love the state. I really do. I love the mountains up there. We go to a place called Hickory Run State Park where we do some camping. They have waterfalls. They have this huge field of boulders that was created from a glacier that was moving during the Ice Age. Nice little small towns nestled in the mountains, the borough of Jim Thorpe. It's just a beautiful area. And talking about Gettysburg, we went up there and we spent 2 days, and that was not nearly enough. Like, you need a week for Gettysburg. So much history to see there. The battlefields, I mean, they're just beautiful. It's just beautiful scenery that you see as you look out. And I gotta say, the great city of Philadelphia, we've done quite a few investigations there. We went to Fort Mifflin, which was a Revolutionary War fort. It was used during the Civil War. We did the Betsy Ross House in Philadelphia. Quite a few other investigations up throughout Pennsylvania. But the city itself, where the Continental Congress met to declare independence. What a great place. Meeting there, Independence Hall, and deciding that we are going to come up with this Declaration of Independence, and we are going to be a free and independent nation. And it's just an amazing place. And you go from this city, that holds such history, all the way out to the mountains, to the battlefields of Gettysburg, and the small towns that are nestled throughout. It's just a beautiful state. Love Pennsylvania.
I think I'm gonna get something to drink. I don't know. Probably a milkshake. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
A milkshake. Probably no food this time around.
It's at that point in the day where it's like, I want to get lunch, but, because I want to be able to eat dinner at a decent time. But getting lunch now might push dinner back too far.
Exactly. And I don't want to push back dinner.
Right.
No.
Absolutely.
Dinner, the sooner the better.
It's the most important meal of the day.
Yes.
So I was perusing the snack aisle, and I found something that looks interesting. Buffalo baked fries. And I was trying to pronounce that name that's up there. Snickety. That sounds right. I'm thinking I might need to try these because I really do like the Andy Capp's hot fries, ranch fries, and barbecue fries that are available by Andy Cap, especially the hot fries. So the buffalo ones, I think I'm gonna need to give these a try. I've never seen them anywhere else.
See, last time I made a mistake. I got a banana milkshake, but I added in peanut butter. Peanut butter overshadowed the banana completely.
Yeah.
All you could taste is peanut butter. So this time around, I got banana and vanilla. So hopefully it.
Feel like a banana
it tastes
cream.
good.
I know.
Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all.
No, that sounds pretty good.
I got this chocolate brownie. I forget what else was in it. But I see there's like Oreo cookies on top and stuff like that. And it's a good day for a milkshake. It's kind of a good midday snack, filling, but still leaves room for dinner.
Right. Technically, milkshakes are supposed to be a meal substitute. Now, you're not supposed to eat a milkshake, drink a milkshake with food.
Like yeah.
I always do.
That's right. It's 101 degrees here in New Kent. I gotta say, it's pretty hot out there. There's all kinds of heat warnings and everything.
Yeah.
But we're on our way back, 64 East. And I want to thank everybody for joining us for this edition of Gas, Grub, and Ghost. It was quite an adventure.
Yes,
it was a really good weekend. I had a really good time, and it was great to have the opportunity for those of you who joined us for the live broadcast. If not, you can still catch it. It's posted on the channel. But thank you for those of you that tuned in and commented, and it was great to be able to interact with people.
It was.
I have to say. We're looking forward to doing more of those. We want to do some more live broadcasts where we can interact with people.
Yeah, absolutely. That turned out really good. Lots of views.
Yeah, it was nice. It's like I said. Some thoughts on the investigation, the weekend as a whole. Closing thoughts, closing statements.
Well, the residential investigation was actually pretty fun. Being able to go to like a really old neighborhood, up tucked away in the mountains, that was pretty cool. Enjoyed that experience. And then of course the Octagon Mansion. That's an experience on its own, and I hope that you guys go check it out on Labor Day weekend coming up. That way you can be able to see what we saw. I think it's a really awesome thing that guy's doing. He's rebuilding the mansion, making it a museum. I think it's great that he's saving something historical like that. So it was really nice being able to see something like that in person. That was definitely a treat.
So I'd have to say that, Will is absolutely right. The Octagon Mansion was an amazing place. But the whole weekend was pretty cool. I mean, just because we got in 2 paranormal investigations, one of which was residential, one of which was commercial, and then a little bit of camping in between there. So it was kind of one of those weekends that had a little bit of everything, and I think that was really cool. But yeah, best of luck to John Cushman with the Octagon Mansion and trying to get that restored. Hopefully he's able to get all of the restorations done and really bring that thing to life the way he envisions it being. So best of luck to him.
Absolutely. Visit Wytheville. Visit the mansion.
Yes.
Cool town. Great places to eat. Some cool things to see. And that mansion is going to be quite a museum by the time he's done. It already is, and he's just getting started. We do have the VAPI COVID masks. I mentioned this on our live feed. It's got the VAPI logo. It's purple on the outside. We don't sell these directly, but we can put you in touch with who does if you're interested. Just shoot us an email. Probably the best one is vaparanormal@yahoo.com. You can email us there or go on our site. As we're slowly building up our merchandise page, we're hoping to get some shirts available soon. But right now we have these wonderful stickers that Linda made, the Stand Up for Your State stickers. We love all the positive comments we got on the last Gas, Grub, and Ghost episode, where people were telling us some awesome things about their states. We got to go through and read some of them, and it was really nice to hear. So these stickers, they're in the shape of every state. So whatever state you live in, you can get that shape. It's got a cool backdrop, and it says Stand Up for Your State.
Yep.
Say good things about it, stay positive, and until next time, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Linda.
And I'm Will.
And there's much more to see in the dark.